Clouds rolled in for your Wednesday evening, and we didn't see rain with these clouds, but we do see a whole bunch more of them coming our way. Your forecast is ahead.
Coming up on News 12 at 9, the portion of the Keystone XL pipeline through Lamar County begins pumping oil today to the anger of landowners. Plus, a false alarm at OU puts the campus on lockdown today. And the mother of a local man arrested twice this month arrested herself. News 12 at 9 starts now.
The only newscast in true high definition, broadcasting live from 12 studios. This is News 12 at 9 p.m.
Good evening and welcome to News 12 at 9. I'm Scott McClendon. The mother of the man who authorities say was the last person seen with two missing people out of Carter County is now also behind bars. Wilson police say Melissa Nip Greenroyd, the mother of James Con Nip, was arrested Tuesday night and taken to Carter County Jail. Greenroyd is being charged with DUI, firearms, and drug charges. Wilson Police Chief Felix Hernandez says Greenroyd was taken into custody after shots were fired at Dillard and Ridge Road just east of Wilson. No one was reported injured.
The vehicle matched the description, and the firearm had been recently fired because it was still warm and there was the odor of gunpowder.
Greenroyd's son, James Con Nip, has been arrested twice this month for eluding police. Authorities also believe he was the driver who led police on a chase in Love County last July with Molly Miller and Colt Haynes in the car. Miller and Haynes haven't been seen since. Former Cowboys player Josh Brent has been convicted of intoxication manslaughter in the wreck that killed his teammate. This afternoon, a jury found Brent guilty for the December 2012 crash that killed Cowboys practice squad player Jerry Brown, Brent's close friend and college teammate. The two were heading home from a Dallas nightclub when Brent lost control of his Mercedes. His blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. Brent faces up to 20 years in prison. A former North Lamar High School equipment manager charged with child sex crimes has pleaded guilty. According to the district clerk's office, 40-year-old Winton Braxton pleaded guilty Tuesday to 2 counts of sexually assaulting a child. He received a 10-year deferred sentence. Police say they received a call in October from the parents of the victim telling them their 16-year-old daughter was pregnant by Braxton. Paris police say the child was not a student at North Lamar High School. One man is dead and another hospitalized after a crash in Bryan County this morning. Troopers say around 10:30, a truck headed east on FM 22 swerved into the westbound lane. It hit an elderly man in a Mustang head-on. The man in the Mustang died at the scene. Troopers are investigating the cause.
For unknown reasons, a vehicle traveling eastbound on State Highway 22 here went left of center, met another car heading westbound on State Highway 22 here, met them head-on, killing the deceased driver of one of the vehicles.
The truck driver, Cody Eldridge of Caddo, was flown to Plano Medical Center, treated and released. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner of Oklahoma has released the names of the men killed in a plant explosion in Marshall County this week. The Medical Examiner's Office says Brody Davenport and Gonzalo Martinez both died Monday. The cause of death is thermal injuries and smoke inhalation, both ruled as accidents. The explosion happened at Mid-American Steel and Wire just south of Medill. OSHA and the fire marshal are still investigating. A Fitzhugh boy is listed in critical condition after suffering severe burns from a gas can explosion. According to Pontotoc County Sheriff John Christian, a 12-year-old boy was burning trash Monday behind his home on County Road 3520 when a 5-gallon gas can exploded. Christian says the boy suffered severe burns from the waist up, but was walking around and talking when law enforcement arrived. He was flown to a burn center in Oklahoma City. He's now listed, still in critical condition, at Arkansas Children's Hospital in Little Rock. Turning to weather on a breezy and cold night with much colder conditions expected later. Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore joins us with an update. Steve?
Well, this hour, Scott, we're ranging from about 37 degrees on the cool at Denata to 43 degrees Sherman Denison and 46 still this hour in Gainesville. Now, the wind is out of the northeast. As an Arctic cold front comes through, that wind will shift to the north. Now, that cold front has just crossed the Oklahoma line. Winds are gusting to 32 miles per hour out of the north in Wichita with a wind chill factor there in the single numbers. And that gusty wind will spread southward behind the front. So by morning, we'll all be in the Arctic air with strong north winds and temps in the 20s. Got the rest of your forecast when I come back.
Dallas firefighters are battling a massive fire at a condominium complex tonight. The 4-alarm fire on the city's northeast side engulfed a row of condos around 6 o'clock, just south of the intersection of Forest Lane and Abrams. Flames ripped through the units while firefighters worked to contain the blaze. The string of apartments has been mostly vacant for years, except for a woman and her dog who were safely rescued tonight. No injuries have been reported. The University of Oklahoma campus went on lockdown this morning after reports of shots being fired. Norman police searched the building in question but found no evidence of shots fired or any injuries. Authorities speculate the sound of machinery backfiring was mistaken as gunshots. The campus has since resumed normal operations. The Keystone XL pipeline began operations on its southern leg today, and a Lamar County landowner is furious about it.
The pipeline starting does nothing really but just fuel my anger that we can be in the court system saying you never had the right to take our land for this project and they can move forward.
Landowner Julia Trigg Crawford has been fighting TransCanada, saying that they're violating her eminent domain rights. Several landowners say there was no formal inspection and leaks to the line have occurred. TransCanada insists there are no problems with the pipeline.
What potentially people are confusing is once the pipeline has been constructed and before we put it into operation, we go through a very comprehensive commissioning process.
The pipeline's southern leg will transport oil from Cushing, Oklahoma to refineries in the Houston area. President Obama has yet to approve the portion from Canada to Cushing. The Save Lake Texoma campaign is now receiving some attention from Senator Tom Coburn's office. Robin King, the Kingston woman behind the new Facebook page with 24,000 likes, says they're meeting with Coburn's office on Monday. The group wants to stop the draining of Lake Texoma in order to keep the lake from drying up. King says Lake Texoma shouldn't be used for hydropower or drinking water when levels are at their lowest point since the 1970s. The city of Bells has issued multiple boil orders in just 3 months, and today, Bells ISD had to cancel all its classes after a water line burst. News 12's Daniela Riviera was in Bells today and has more.
Classrooms are empty as the water problem in Bells adds another chapter.
We got a text message early this morning, about 6:15, 6:30 this morning, saying that we were going to have a delayed start.
A few hours later, Christina Sanders got another text saying classes were canceled. And the reason? A water line burst outside the high school gym.
We discovered a water leak that's part of the city water line. And so we called and started making arrangements to delay the start of school.
When Superintendent Joe Moore realized it would take longer to fix, he canceled classes. Moore says a smaller leak was uncovered about 3 months ago on what he says is the city's water line that services the school property. But Bells Mayor Gary Martin tells us that line is the school's responsibility since it's on the district's private property.
We've had some issues, and the city's working hard to try to fix those issues. But there's some old water lines, and they're erupting around town.
Although school was out for the day, athletic practices went on as scheduled.
It's hard for the athletes. We don't have water. We have to bring our own, or the school has to go out and buy cases and cases of water.
The district hired a private contractor to repair the broken pipe. Moore says it's now fixed, and classes will start on schedule Thursday morning. Daniela Rivera, News 12.
Denison ISD gave News 12 a look inside the new high school today, which they say is 85% complete. Superintendent Dr. Henry Scott says the new 300,000 square foot building will have 2 gymnasiums, a cafeteria, and a library, twice the size of those at the current high school. It'll also have a professionally lit auditorium. He says it'll contain 14 labs for science classes and will have a smart board in every classroom.
Technology is going to be up to date. The athletic facilities will all be top notch. Just the fact that we've got space out here as opposed to where we were before.
The new high school is set to open this fall. Coming up on News 12 at 9, hear from a survivor of 5 different Nazi prison camps. He visited local high schools today and shared his remarkable story. Plus, a Special Olympics event at Austin College brings out the smiles in everyone. But first, Steve's back with your forecast, and it's a frigid one. The chilly details when we return.
When severe weather comes through Texoma, trust the Weather Authority to keep you informed and keep you safe. Steve Lenore, Tom Miller, Tom Hale, and Wava Danito will track the storms and alert you every step of the way with the powerfully proven Doppler 12 Live, which has a 6-minute advantage over any other radar covering Texoma. With all the combined forecasting experience, the Weather Authority is able to inform, prepare, and protect you from Mother Nature at its worst in any form. 12 on the Weather Authority are here to keep you safe and informed.
Weather is brought to you by LANKFORD Roofing since 1937. You're watching News 12 at 9 p.m. with Scott McClendon. And from the Weather Authority, here's Steve Lenore.
All right, pull out those scarves, those hats, those mittens, because Steve tells us it's not a winter, it's a winter surge that's coming, right? Not a winter blast.
Yeah, we beat the word blast to death. Let's call it a winter surge.
All right, I like it.
Because it is a big pocket of cold air pushing rapidly
down
our way, so we could say, hey, it's surging in. Let's take a look at what's happening today from our Sherman Tower Cam. We had a beautiful sunset brought to you by our friends at Glen Polk Autoplex and Supercenter in Gainesville. A really pretty one here. You can see some high-level cloud cover coming in and mixing with the sunlight. This happened about 5:50 p.m. So let's go to the maps tonight, and you can talk about these temperatures that are cooling off. It's nothing bitterly cold just yet, but we're down to 39 now in Ada. Updated temperature for you, 45 in Bonham. And the winds are cutting through at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it definitely is seasonably cold, you might say. Winds are northeast right now, but they'll really be picking up overnight. So the wind chill right now is nothing remarkable. Generally, the wind chill value, how cold it feels, runs low 30s north to upper 30s along the Red River. These values will be tumbling, though, as strong north winds cut in behind the front moving in overnight, and the temperatures tumble into the 20s. Our wind chill factors by morning will probably be near 0. That's how cold it'll feel. Actual air temps running low 20s. You can see a lot of cloud cover overhead tonight as well. What we have is an upper level disturbance dropping out of the Rocky Mountain states. That's going to pivot southward across central Texas. They actually have a winter storm watch in effect all the way down to the Gulf Coast at Corpus Christi, where they may get some freezing rain or a little bit of sleet there, but that's going south of us, so we're really going to be missing out on any winter precip with this. I don't expect any snow or ice, and here's why. Take a look at the winter surge here. Big pocket of cold air coming out of Canada. There's the Arctic high, and notice how the precipitation is down here around Austin and San Antonio, and they could get a light coating of ice out of this, freezing rain or sleet, the likely forms of precip there, maybe a little bit of snow back up towards Waco, but for us, high pressure sitting on top of us will make for very cold conditions. Now tonight and tomorrow morning, that wind really rushing in. So we're talking about north-northeast, about 20 to 30 in the morning. Your actual air temps will be generally in the low 20s. Could be some upper teens in our northern counties. It's going to be just plain raw and frigid out there in the morning. And you can see 23 in Paris to about 23 in Bonham and Sherman at 22 degrees. Then in the afternoon, the clouds kind of hang tough. It'll still be windy. The wind will start to back off by mid-afternoon, but we're still talking highs that are going to struggle to make it to about 30 in our southern zones and maybe the upper 20s as we get a little farther north. So I think most of us will have a tough time getting above freezing tomorrow. Then tomorrow night, as the clouds start to clear out, we could crater out to 12 or even colder. This is the average low on Friday morning. So clouds thinning out on Friday, getting up close to 40 for the high, and then well up into the 50s, probably close to 60 for Saturday and Sunday. So what a change from barely 30 tomorrow to twice that as we go into Saturday and Sunday. So nice change coming up there. Stick around. We will be right back.
Students from North Lamar and Prairieland High Schools heard from a Holocaust survivor today. Chelsea Smith spoke with them and brings us his story.
85-year-old Max Globin was 11 years old when Germany invaded Poland in 1939. That's when his journey for survival began.
You knew that there was war by bombing and other things, but until the troops actually came in, and that was about October 2nd.
Max lived in Warsaw, Poland. He saw the ghetto's uprising and decimation before being placed in 5 different concentration camps.
So you never knew where you were, but we were extremely mistreated.
He was separated from his mom and brother when they were sent to the gas chambers and credits his father for saving his life.
My dad then reached out and grabbed my hand and said, "Stay with me."
Max's dad was killed at the 2nd concentration camp, but he never lost hope. He says he was motivated by the power of prayer.
And if they came through all these years and I'm still here, then I stronger believe in God than ever, because I'm here for a reason.
Max was at North Lamar High School Wednesday telling his story to students. Many of them said it was an experience they will never forget.
When someone actually talks about it and you hear what they went through, it just makes you have such a great respect for them.
I get chills listening to him because it's kind of a slap in the face because we don't realize how good we have it.
Max was liberated by the U.S. Army in 1945 and sent to the U.S. in 1947 as an orphan. Max now resides in Dallas with his wife. In Paris, Chelsea Smith, News 12.
Cheers and smiles filled the gym at Austin College today. Young students competed in a Special Olympic skills competition. Participants from Sherman, Denison, Whitesboro, Pottsboro, and other communities were dribbling, shooting, and showcasing their skills. Austin College volunteers say this is as rewarding to them as it is to the participants.
Sometimes we get in our little college bubble and don't really go outside. So this has given us the opportunity to give back to the community that we now are a part of.
More than 200 athletes and volunteers participated in today's events. Coming up in sports, the Cowboys are preparing for the off-season. We'll tell you what to expect when we return.
This sports segment is brought to you by HoytDodge.com. Hoyt said, sell them.
The Cowboys missed the playoffs again in 2013. Fans probably hoping for a big splash next year, but they may not get it. That headlines tonight's 2-minute drill.
With the NFL offseason rapidly approaching, teams are beginning to gear up for free agency. But according to Executive VP Stephen Jones, Cowboys fans shouldn't be expecting much from Dallas. Jones says the team is tight against the cap for the 2013 league year and will be almost $25 million over the cap for the 2014 season. They'll have to do some restructuring to get under it by March 11th when the league year begins, but that won't leave much room for signings and could end the tenure of defensive lineman Jason Hatcher, who will be a free agent this offseason. Some Cowboys superstars, including Tony Romo and DeMarcus Ware, will likely have their contracts restructured. It appears Vince Young's financial problems are far from over. The former Texas Longhorn star filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The petition was filed last weekend in a federal bankruptcy court in Houston. His estimated assets are between $500,000 and $1 million, against between $1 million and $10 million in liabilities. The QB, who led Texas to a national title in 2005, last played in a regular season game in 2011.
Bounder. Holmes wins it! Hits the three and Texas wins!
For the 2-minute drill, I'm Taylor Williamson.
Coming up, a final check of that frigid forecast, plus a college senior is hoping to turn his black graduation cap into green. The story next.
The News 12 hotline is your direct access to the News 12 team. When news breaks, call the News 12 hotline at 903-892-6397.
A University of Michigan student is taking a novel approach to paying off his student loans. Alex Benda graduates this spring. He's trying to sell square-inch advertisements on his graduation cap. The business major has nearly $30,000 in student loans, and he hopes to sell 100 squares at $300 a piece to wipe that debt out. If that's not in your budget, Alex has other alternatives for you. $10 gets you a handwritten letter. A $1 donation gets you a high five. How about that, Steve? High five?
$1 bill.
Send Alex a buck. You owe him a buck.
What kind of a high five was that?
I can't stretch. It's hard.
Hey, 7-day forecast. You can see cold one tomorrow, windy and 30 degrees, and 39 on Friday. It was a combination high five and handshake.
That's right. Exactly. Have a great night, everyone. Stay warm out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.